last night, a farmer rushed into the village in panic. A herd of wild boars had once again stormed in, devastating the entire cassava field by the forest's edge. Fresh hoof prints were still embedded in the mud, and the echoing roars in the darkness sent chills down everyone's spine. We couldn't let this continue. At dawn, we gathered all our weapons and specialized gear, radios, trackers, and cameras before heading deep into the forest. Every step we took was measured and quiet, moving beneath the thick canopy. Each of us scanned our surroundings, alert for the slightest sound. Would we be the hunters today, or the hunted? Let's find out. Our team leader quickly directed us toward a narrow trail, a path the herd frequently used. We split into smaller squads, holding our breath and waiting in absolute silence. There they were, a group of wild boars emerging from shadows. The leader raised his rifle. He didn't pull the trigger immediately. Instead, he carefully calculated the bullet's trajectory, waiting for the perfect moment. Bang! The gunshot shattered the stillness, and one target fell instantly. It was the perfect opening shot, giving us a clear advantage in this deep forest hunt. The moment one boar dropped, the rest of the herd panicked and scattered in all directions. But everything had been planned in advance. Our teams were already positioned in a semicircle, ready to intercept. To the west, my teammate opened fire, sealing off their escape route. Another target fell before it could even change direction. A few more followed shortly after. Our ambush, encirclement, intercept strategy worked flawlessly, turning their escape path into a deadly trap. We pressed on, spreading out to track down the ones that had managed to flee. The leader signaled for us to maintain distance and keep in constant contact through our devices to avoid any surprise encounters. Creeping through the dense bushes, I spotted fresh hoof prints pressed into the damp soil. There it was, hiding deep inside the undergrowth. Moving silently and with full control, I advanced, staying calm and taking the upper hand. Then, with a single well-placed shot, I brought it down. At the same moment, another gunshot echoed from the left flank. One of my teammates had spotted a shadow, trying to sneak through the tall, dry grass. The moment the creature stepped into the open, he locked on from afar, waited until it was fully exposed, and fired. The target was completely neutralized. By now, the sun had risen high. Just then, our leader received a radio signal from the Southern Scouting Team. Fresh tracks were leading toward the grasslands bordering the forest. Without hesitation, we regrouped and moved out. The open terrain gave us better visibility and fewer obstacles. Five minutes later, a dark figure dashed across our line of sight. It moved fast. I swung my rifle to follow and quickly estimated the lead distance to compensate for its speed. Bang! It went down instantly, the reward of patience and precision. On the opposite side, another wild boar suddenly burst out from the thicket, trying to break past my teammates' ambush. He stayed calm, letting it run exactly as predicted. When the animal reached the open gap, fully visible, he squeezed the trigger decisively. The bullet hit clean, ending its escape attempt in an instant. This deep forest hunt ended with well-earned trophies. Every shot, every strategy was executed with precision. Early morning in Alberobello, the village famed for its ancient trellis houses, we discovered fresh tracks of a wild boar herd. Right on the edge of the field, we gathered quickly, determined the herd's direction, and set up ambush points. Everyone knew the terrain by heart, so within minutes we were ready. At first, it felt like a routine hunt, but none of us expected what came next, a fierce counterattack from the herd. The danger was far greater than anticipated. Could we push forward, capture them, or would we be forced to yield before nature's ferocity? Join us on this perilous chase to find out. No matter how cunning, wild boars are creatures of habit. They follow the same trails between their feeding grounds and shelters. And we knew that pattern well. That morning, we waited near a dry, grassy field, knowing sooner or later one would cross in search of food. Sure enough, a sow suddenly appeared. The first shot startled her, and she bolted forward. The hunting dogs immediately charged after her. Bullets tore through the air, striking the target. The beast staggered before vanishing into the woods. The chase lasted only minutes, but it was enough to push back one threat. For hunters, victory doesn't come only from strength, but from a sharp mind that reads the prey and acts at the right moment. Not long after, nearby, as if by habit, another dark shape lumbered down the forest trail in search of food. Mark raised his binoculars, studying its every move, then directed all attention to the target. Without hesitation, he ordered John, the team's top marksman, to fire. A single bullet sliced through the air. The deafening crack echoed, precise and final. The beast collapsed instantly, disappearing beneath the tall, dry grass. Our seamless coordination wasn't just from training, but from hundreds of hunts together, in forests, on mountains, through the harshest seasons. At midday, under the scorching sun, we had just stopped to rest by the field when the reeds nearby began to rustle. Suddenly, a jet-black boar burst out, sprinting along the path. I lifted my rifle in a flash, aimed and fired a clean hit. The dogs rushed in, overwhelming the animal, leaving it no chance to rise again. That instant reflex and decisiveness is something every hunter must possess. No matter the circumstances, we stand firm, protecting every inch of farmland, never letting these destroyers survive. By late afternoon, the sun had eased, and we switched to dirt bikes to conserve energy across the wide fields. Suddenly, another dark figure appeared, running wildly across the open ground. John signaled for me to pursue. Gunfire echoed one after another, but the beast was clever, zigzagging unpredictably. As John and I closed in from both sides, it faltered. I seized the moment, fired, and struck true. Our success was the result of careful preparation and flawless teamwork bound by a common mission. We climbed into the pickup and drove across another field, following fresh tracks pressed into the dry soil. At one point, Ellie got out to scout. The dogs ran ahead while she quietly followed, her eyes scanning every movement. John sat beside me, gripping his rifle, ready at any moment. Mark held the wheel steady, guiding us toward the harvested fields, where boars often hid among leftover straw stacks. Suddenly, a dark blur shot across our path. Instinctively, I pulled the trigger. Gunshots erupted in rhythm with my racing breath. Experience told me, opportunities last only a split second, and I made mine count, dropping the beast and restoring peace to the field. As evening fell, the blazing sunset shone directly into my face. A herd of wild boars was fleeing toward the forest after wreaking havoc on the fields. Exhausted and drenched in sweat, I focused every shot with pinpoint accuracy. One by one, they collapsed, ending the chase quickly and decisively. But remember this, if you are not a seasoned hunter, never confront them. At any moment, you could become the prey. The sun dipped below the tree-line, and the last rays faded. Darkness set in, yet the mission wasn't over. John raised his scope, locked onto a lone black boar on the field. 2 shots rang out. Startled, it bolted into the forest. Another threat driven back. By nightfall, we decided not to pursue further. We packed up, climbed into the old buggy, and quietly left the fields. As we rode away, we replayed the footage on our Canon camera, each frame a fragment of memory from an unforgettable day of hunting. We take pride in protecting the fields and the peaceful lives of the people of Alberobello. Though the hunt is grueling and dangerous, we never falter, because the safety of the village always comes first. Stay with us, and join us again on the next journey. Early morning in the village of Alberobello, soft sunlight spreads across the white stone rooftops. Down in the fields, the soil is still scarred, wild boar tracks imprinted deep, furrows torn apart from the night before. If no timely action is taken, this entire crop might be lost. The distant thrum of a helicopter cuts through the thin morning mist, rotor blades slicing the cold dawn air. From above, we scan the familiar fields below, ready for today's mission. When the helicopter arrives, peace begins to return to the crops, to people's sleep, and to an Alberobello no longer disturbed at night. Join us on this journey. As the sun rises, we ride the wind toward the meadows where the ground still bears animal tracks. Moments later, the first wild boar bursts out, lumbering along an old path, panicked by the chopping sound of rotor blades swirling overhead. I focus on keeping the altitude steady, maneuvering the helicopter precisely along its calculated flight path. John grips his weapon, calm, sharp, locked in. His eyes track every move. Boom! Not a single miscalculation. The beast is swiftly brought under control by John's razor-sharp shot. Our team works like a perfectly tuned machine moving in sync. We're not here to chase for sport, but to protect the harvest, to restore peace for the farmers. We continue the aerial pursuit. Light rain drizzles down, the cockpit glass fogged with moisture, but the target is clear. A herd of wild boars ravaging freshly sown fields. I hold the controls steady, adjusting altitude to give John the perfect angle. The moment has come. John locks his aim, squeezes the trigger. A burst of rounds streaks out, cold, precise. One by one, targets drop where they stand, leaving the field safe once again. What do you think of this wordless coordination between us? Leave a comment below if you could feel the pulse of this hunt too. We head toward a field near the forest edge where sunlight filters softly through the clouds. Suddenly, a dark boar appears, head down, rooting in the soil. John needs no reminder. His barrel lifts, eyes locked. The air holds its breath. One shot, clean, precise. Another target neutralized. The crops are safe again, and by morning, no new tracks will scar this field. By noon, the harsh light makes the sights flare. We lower altitude, keeping the chopper steady to ensure the firing path remains clear. Aerial pursuit at this level demands absolute focus and a flawless finish. That's what you just witnessed from a seasoned hunter's steady hand. And it didn't stop there. Two more targets were swiftly and decisively taken down by John, a veteran marksman whose experience speaks in every pull of the trigger. In just minutes, the entire herd was under control. The crops secured. Farmers reassured. By afternoon, the sun eases off, but our mission isn't over. Another herd approaches newly planted fields to the west. Ammunition is running low, but with John's marksmanship, confidence remains high. Mark reviews the thermal map, recalculates distance and wind. I hold the helicopter low, widening our field of view. 3 shots, 3 down, but a few sprint away at nearly 40 kilometers H, far off, forcing bullets off course. Dust clouds blur visibility, making it tough to lock them down. We give chase immediately. We cannot allow the herd to wreak havoc again. Peace is restored only after we confirm no fresh tracks remain. Dusk approaches, the sun setting behind the trees. We decide to deal with the last roaming herd swiftly before returning home. Every shot from above tears through the air, landing with pre-planned accuracy. None escape. Every move accounted for, no second attempts needed. The helicopter glides over the village rooftops as night falls, shadows stretching across tiles and fields. We end the day's work with quiet satisfaction. Today's success came not from individual skill alone, but from teamwork, planning, the right equipment, hunters' discipline, and the trust of the farmers. And so, today's hunt in Alberobello comes to a close. Which moment impressed you most? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you won't miss the next episode. See you from above in the next hunt. When we were kids, we would often sit around the fire listening to old Leon, a veteran farmer in the village, tell us, "The forest gives us life, but if we fail to keep balance, it will also bring forth dangers to test mankind." Those words seemed like mere old tales, until the vicious growls of wild boars tore through the peaceful night, spreading chaos and fear across the village. Just a few days earlier, a rampage of wild boars had destroyed barns and fields. Now that peace was under threat, we understood that our duty was not only to protect crops and livestock, but also to safeguard the sacred harmony with the forest. Today's hunt was not merely punishment, but a stern reminder. This village still has those willing to rise up and fight for its peace. At dawn, our team set out. The road ahead was long, and though our truck carried little, our hearts were full of belief and determination. The hunt begins. Today's battleground was a rugged hillside where jagged rocks could injure you at any misstep, but this was the very territory of the boars. Right then, our first target appeared. The boar came charging at breakneck speed, heading straight toward me. My heart pounded, but the rifle was already in my hands. I took aim. My finger tightened on the trigger, the barrel trembling slightly with my breath. The sharp crack of the gunshot echoed through the forest. It dropped instantly to the ground. At that moment, James spotted another target. From the top of a hill, he saw a boar bolting in panic, perhaps startled by my earlier shot. It dashed frantically, seeking cover in thick bushes. But such tricks couldn't fool a seasoned hunter like James. He had already predicted its path. He raised his rifle, calm and steady, waiting. The moment the boar burst from the brush, James pulled the trigger. Clean, precise, the boar was erased from its escape route in an instant. Move east. Our dogs have locked onto a target. Jack's voice crackled through the radio. We rushed to the marked spot. As we arrived, the barking of our hounds echoed, heightening our alertness. A boar was trapped within the dog circle. "Leave it to me," Jack said. Without hesitation, he advanced, raised his rifle, aimed steadily, and fired. The shot struck true. The boar staggered, wounded but still crawling away. Jack didn't waste another bullet. He knew the hounds would finish the job. It wouldn't get far. Jack quickly moved down the slope. "There it is, right in my sights." "No way you're escaping," he muttered. The boar sprinted desperately, but Jack was ready. He fired. The bullet struck true, sending it tumbling lifelessly down, ending its reign of havoc over the forest. On the other side of the forest edge, James and I followed the hound's trail as planned. A massive boar was being chased down. Its shadow loomed large, leaving us in awe. I raised my rifle and fired. The bullet struck. The beast thrashed violently. We were forced to step back to avoid its counterattack. Then, boom, another shot sealing its fate. I just ran into a massive herd. They were too fast. I only managed to take down a few. Jack's voice came over the radio. As he scouted the area, he heard the pounding of many hooves. Not one boar, but an entire herd charging like arrows. No time to think. In just seconds, they would be gone. Jack fired, quick and precise. One, then two boars dropped in the dust. The rest vanished in the forest, but at least their numbers had been thinned. We wanted to chase the herd, but night was falling. We had no choice but to return. As we stopped at the village gate, people gathered. There were no loud cheers, only silent, grateful eyes. The truck bed, heavy with trophies, was proof of our courage, but also a reminder. The forest still holds secrets and trials for mankind. This hunt did not end with victory alone. It opened up a new responsibility. The forest will always remain generous yet stern. We know we cannot rest on this triumph.